One Piece chapter 963. Yo, yo, yo. Oden is strong. Oden is strong. This dude swapped swords with Whitebeard. Ooh. Yo, and he was laughing about that shit. He was laughing about that shit, saying, yo, you look strong. You got a ship. Let me join the sea with you. Woo! Oh, man, dude. This is what's crazy about that, though, right? Like, again, the more you see of people that were on Roger's crew, the more you realize how utterly broken Roger was. Because all these powerful people are joining him. Like, Oden carried enough of a presence about him that Whitebeard says, hey, everybody back up, danger is coming, and Oden wasn't even bloodlusted. Jesus Christ, man. That's what got me so excited, because the guy wasn't even bloodlusted, and he did all that damage. But I like how, Oda is continuing to do the ticking clock, where we're just counting down to that fateful day. We know that it's eventually coming because it's like, oh yeah, 30 years before the current day. And it's just like, okay, we're getting closer and closer to that moment. But it's the journey that it's taken to get us there. And we're seeing all this connective tissue just being brought to the surface, whether it be the explanation of how the Kozuki clan and the minks from the island of Zou, that big ass elephant, how they had their connection. And you see it paid off when they're being put on the stake and they're about to be roasted, and you have Oden, where Oden shows up, and Oden has a very big line. He says, you should be ashamed of yourselves. You only fear what's different out of ignorance. It's absolutely pathetic for you to torture little children. That says a lot, because again, when it comes to people, we have an instinct to fear what looks different than us. The difference between you and an evil person or a bad person is if you're able to understand that there's initial fear at first, but you don't let that fear determine your opinion of the people that look different than you, that's where you determine whether or not you're a good or you're a bad person. And I like how Oden is trying to educate them. And it's so interesting because as he's saying this, one of the people that he's sticking up for is a fish man. And I love that. And I love how as you get the further explanation of what happened, it's just like, oh snap, this man's mom ran out and got, I'm assuming, some serious injuries because the ship crashed and they had injuries and everything. And it says that the mom died after the fact, but the fact is that I'm wondering if she got like a stone or something thrown to her head and eventually just bled out. But that would explain the whole thing with, oh, I'm a kappa, I'm not a fish man. All that makes sense now, because that always made me, I was like, why would you not own up to it? Because we hadn't actually seen, and I might be forgetting a character, but we hadn't actually seen somebody hide that they were a fish man. So I thought that was kind of interesting right there. Again, if I'm forgetting a character, forgive me. But what I will say is that I like how, the other connective tissue that you see kind of being threaded together is the fact that, Yasui is like, yo, you guys are going to be serving Oden. You can't be looking all ragtag and scraggly and everything. You need to get your shit together. Take this money, get educated, get well read, learn some manners, clean yourselves up, and actually look presentable, because if Oden has vassals like you, he's only going to embarrass himself. And that was some real talk that was needed. And that shows you the level of devotion that they have for Oden, because they went from being essentially these ragtag country bunking ruffians to actually being people that are respectable. And it says a lot for how they care about Oden, because they were willing to change themselves for somebody else. And it's one of those things where it depends on where you fall on the spectrum for how you view love. I personally look at it like it's okay to change for the people that you love, so long as they're not trying to change you on the initial outset. Like, what they love about you shouldn't be what's actually changed about you. They should love you as you. But if they change after meeting you, as a way to do something for you or something in that line, I think that that's completely fine. So I like what you see here. I really like what you see here on how they took those next steps for Oden, because they believed in him enough to where they understood like this dude's eventually going to be the shogun of Wano, and if we're gonna stand up for this dude, we got to make sure that we look completely on point. And what I like here is that, you know, one of the last lines that they get from Yasuie is like, you're going to be our guardian deities one day, and they took it serious. And you see how when 3 years pass, how much has changed to where the actual people there in the capital can't even recognize Oden's people because of how much they've done a complete 180. And I think that that's one of those things to where it says a lot, and it says a lot about Oden in the sense that Oden still gave money to Orochi. I have no fucking idea why he would do that shit. You know, I know he's like, well, you know, he's one of Yasui's men. I can't turn my back on him. Fuck that. You turn your whole back on him. Matter of fact, you turn your whole back on him and you tell him, yo, you can go do whatever you do, just go do it when you get the fuck away from me. Like, Oden, survival of the fittest, baby. Let that man go. Let that man go live his best life somewhere. That man, he don't belong to the streets. That man belong to the seas. Yo, I'll use that shit when I talk about Nico Robin next time. I'm like, yo, she don't belong to the street. That bitch belong to the seas, baby. But yo, on some real shit though, man. I know somebody, how the fuck are you dissing Nico Robin? She wasn't in the chapter. Because I know it gets on your fucking nerves. But like, what I like here is that you get the explanation that, you know, Oden is talking to his father for the last time. And that's one of the things that I found to be very interesting, is in those last moments that they get to have that final conversation with one another, it's like they picked up exactly where they left off. It's like, yeah, I've been made great, and I haven't changed a bit at all. And, you know, even then, his father's like, what? My Oden, he's thanking people. And you got Oden where like the banter and the back and forth. It's like, you ain't got to be frightened. Like little small things like that. It says a lot. It says a lot that even his father sees the change in him. And that goes back to changing yourself for other people. When you do it in this manner, subconsciously, the people that you love, that you're supporting, they change in order to keep up with your change. So you're growing together. And you see that with Oden, where Oden still has that big dick energy. Like the guy is literally being carried in on the back. So I totally get it. And yet at the same time, it's just like, damn, dude, you know, what's going to happen at this point? Because he's asking to be able to ride out on the ship. And so it's just like, is he going to try and go back out to the seas? Because he says like, man, there's probably more cat vipers and there's more a dog out there. And oh, there's fishmen. That's going to be fucking awesome to see. Like, I wonder, how does it get to a point where he's the shogun? That's what I want to know. So overall, this was a pretty cool chapter. But my chapter question for you guys is, if you had to rank Oden against the 4 emperors of the sea, I guess 5 emperors since we got Luffy now. If you had to rank Oden's power level in regards to the 5 emperors, where would Oden rank? List them from 1 to 6, because obviously you're putting Oden in there for me. Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.